steroids.
For sure.
You know?
So
where's I don't think it's good for our image. But, you know, I think we can combat that with reality. And I think the real problem that all these athletes and all these, you know, commissions and sports and all these people have is no one's talking frankly about it. No one's saying what I just said about performance-enhancing substances. Like, where are we going to draw the line? We're going to draw the line with vitamins? No vitamins. What are you doing, eating vegetables? Don't you fucking eat vegetables. You know, what are we going to do? What if we find some root from Bulgaria, like tribulus, you know, that increases your testosterone by a very noticeable amount? Is that legal? And if it's not legal, why isn't it legal? Why can't you just eat the root? It's just a root.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a real gray area. I'm for people being able to do whatever the fuck they want to do. We have to define why these commissions are trying. Why is this stuff illegal? Is it illegal because you're protecting the athletes? Because if that's true, you can't. Why aren't you testing for alcohol? Why aren't you testing for cigarettes? Or is it illegal because you're trying to keep it fair? I mean, what are we doing here? You know.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I think you raised some excellent points. But where's the responsibility lie right now? I mean, the fact is it is illegal, and guys are getting popped, and they're losing money in fights because of it, and titles are being stripped. So as it stands now, that's just the landscape under mixed martial arts. So who's the responsibility falling to the fighter?
It's Dana White's fault.
No,
100%. I think it's all in Dana White's corner. It's his responsibility. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, he wants to be responsible for everything else, so I got no problem with that.
Oh, poor Dana.
Look, I mean, seriously, but do the promoters have a part here? I mean, and to me, it feels like they're baseball owners who are watching these guys at home and cashing in, and they don't give a shit.
This is what I think. If the state athletic commissions, if they want to be responsible for sanctioning these things, then they should be responsible for it, and they should also explain why these things are illegal. And it should be up to them. I mean, they're obviously the ones that are testing for it. I mean, the UFC. Look, I mean, let's be real. Do you think Pride had any doubt whether or not any of those guys were on steroids? I mean, of course they knew they were. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not. I don't think that anyone other than the people that are saying it's bad should be the ones that are required to not only test for it or not only clean up the mess, but explain why these things are banned in the first place. Explain what your stance is. And I don't want
logic, Joe. That's just crazy.
Excuse me.
You just want logic. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. Logic is a little crazy. Yeah. But the real reason is because we've accepted all this silliness up until now, you know, and that's the problem. It's this silliness that's been going on for so long. You can't just stand up and say, hey, this is silly, because kind of everybody knows it's silly, but it's just one of those things that when silly has been going on for 100 years, you just accept it for whatever weird fucking reason.
You go one of two ways. You say, all right, everything's legal across the board. We test, and you get caught. You pay the fine and the time. Or you say you open it up, and you can do whatever you want. And it seems like it's going in the first direction. You know,
that's anti-evolutionary. I think we should open it up and do whatever we want. And look, this is going to sound like a real shitty thing to say, but you know, and then, again, this is my opinion. It's not the opinion of the UFC or anybody else. I think that we are in the course of evolution. And that's very real. It's not evolution is not something that's stopped with human beings. We're evolving right now. And in evolution, look, both you and I and everybody listening to this broadcast, we're all going to fucking die someday, okay? And people are going to die from doing all sorts of things. They're going to die from driving their car too fast. They're going to die from jumping horses. They're going to die from all kinds of shit. And some people are going to die from steroids. And some people are going to die from drugs. But you know what? You're going to die anyway. And I think the only way for us to really find out, you know, what's the right way to do things and the wrong way to do things is to observe people who are fucking up and observe people who are doing it correctly. You know, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think if you're doing a substance like a steroid or something like that and it makes you like that crazy wrestler that fucking killed his wife and killed his kid and then hung himself, I mean, is that what's going on? And because if that's what's going on, okay, then we have to look at that, you know, really clearly and go, holy shit, you know, this is a real problem. We're taking human beings and we're changing the chemical structure of their bodies so much that they don't exhibit human characteristics anymore. They become like wild savages. They become like wild, crazy gorillas or chimps. You know, I mean, chimpanzees in the wild are fucking crazy. You know, and if we could get people to behave like chimpanzees, we would have a real problem.
They're pretty crazy in the zoo, too.
So
I've been to zoos, and they're pretty crazy there, too, man.
Well, the chimps in the zoo, they're fucking beaten down. They're like prisoners. But you ever watch like documentaries on chimps? Documentaries on chimps are fucking horrifying. Chimps are ruthless murderers. They're fucking crazy, dude. We always think about chimps as like BJ and the Bear, like, oh, cute little monkey. But that's like baby chimps. You can't even have, like, grown chimps around people because they'll just beat the fuck out of you if they decide to. I mean, like that dude that got his balls ripped off and they ripped off his foot and chewed his fucking face off and bit every finger on his hands off. I mean, that's crazy. That's what chimps do. And, and I'm not saying that. Well, I am saying that. Steroids make people closer to chimps. And that's really what it is.
Oh, man.
When you shoot a dude up with test, they get crazy and irrational like a fucking chimp would, like a grown male chimp.
Oh, my God. Joe Rogan joining us on the Beatdown. If you have a question for Joe, give us a call, 1-800-967-9244. We'll keep you as long as you want to be on, Joe. I don't know if you have any plans you got to get to anytime soon.
No, man, I'm cool, dude. I'm not doing shit today.
All right, cool. Let me get one quick phone call in. Beatdown, hello. Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on with Joe Rogan.
Hey, how's it going, man? Joe, if I knew you were on, I would have come up with a better question. I couldn't even really hear what your responses to stuff, but I guess the first thing, I mean, I've trained around a bunch of places, and steroids are every. I mean, I don't know. I know the people at Sherdog probably know this too, but I mean, steroids are just so widely used at every level of competition. And, even professional fighters who compete at lower levels and people that are in the UFC and other organizations, but and weed obviously for jiu-jitsu is freaking huge, but I can't really hear anything that you guys are saying, but I guess I'll just ask, when I was watching Kung Lee fight Fricklin, you're dealing with a guy who is one was a southpaw, one was orthodox, and it's usually a battle to get on the outside of the lead foot, and Kung was doing the exact opposite of that. And obviously ended up working really well. I was wondering if someone could sort of explain that.
Well, Kung Lee's got a real unorthodox style, striking style that's, if you're not used to, first of all, that front leg side kick, he's got almost like a Taekwondo style of attack. He does a lot of front leg roundhouse kicks and high kicks and front leg side kicks, and, they're very dangerous. When you got a guy who's doing it like point karate style, that's what most of us are used to when we think about karate or taekwondo. We're used to thinking about someone doing flippy kicks. But there's no reason you can't do those kicks with some serious power. And that's what Kung Lee does. So he fucks up everybody's sparring. You're used to sparring. You're used to dudes who stand, just like everybody else stands in MMA, and they throw leg kicks just like everybody else does. But Kung Lee is throwing front leg hook kicks and roundhouse kicks and all kinds of crazy shit. And that guy's, it's tough to time, and he's fast.
Mm-hmm. Did you get a chance to check out that Strikeforce show on
Hell yeah. That was insane.
It was definitely a good show. The main event, I think, lived up to its hype.
Dude, that fucking Frank Shamrock's incredible. That was incredible. We were sitting there. We watched it. I was in Vegas for the UFC at the Palms. We watched it in the diner. There was a diner, and it was me and Cole Miller and Charles McCarthy and Eddie Bravo and Micah Miller. We all watched it together, and we were fucking screaming and cheering. It was crazy. Every one of us at the table predicted that Baroni was probably going to win.
Yeah, I think it was funny. We had a poll up at Sherdog.com, and it was deadlocked at 50-50.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of people were giving Baroni a chance, and still a lot of people were believing that Frank Shamrock would be able to pull it off. In your opinion, Joe, where do you think Frank Shamrock, fits in the middleweight picture worldwide?
Frank Shamrock's mind is so strong. I mean, that's one of the things about that dude that people have to understand. There's very few athletes that really can perform 100% to 100% of their ability while they're under extreme pressure. And Frank Shamrock is one of those. He doesn't just perform 100%, he actually performs better, when all that pressure's on. He's a real champion. I mean, the guy took a long time off, and, he hadn't fought anybody really serious before, Renzo Gracie. I mean, he fought Cesar Gracie, and he fought Renzo, and then he fought Baroni. I mean, Renzo's a very respected fighter, and, we didn't know anything about Cesar Gracie, but Phil Baroni was like, God damn, that guy fought some serious fighters. The knockout of Rio Chonin, the knockout of Manoa, all those fighters that he fought overseas. I mean, the way everybody looked at it, like, God, Baroni is, so tuned in right now. He's been fighting constantly. This could be real dangerous for him. But Frank Shamrock showed zero ring rust. He showed zero trepidation. He showed zero nervousness. I mean, he just looked completely dominant. He's a very amazing dude.